Thank you, Liz, and good evening, everybody. On behalf of the steering committee of our European Trade Union Network, we are here gathered, and I'm happy to see almost 100 attendees to this webinar from more than 10 countries, not only from Europe, but you also see people from Canada. I see there's some people from Palestine as well, which is, of course, very welcome. So I think that the previous speakers all gave us a really good and concrete update about not only the findings of the Don't Buy Into Occupation report, but also the impact as it has on our Palestinian colleagues and workers, and also what trade unions concretely can do, as Ingun has pointed out. So we have other examples, and we will elaborate this more in a leaflet that is coming up. What I want to do as in my intervention is speak a bit about what we will do the next upcoming weeks and months, what ETUN stands for, and what kind of campaigns we will develop in the upcoming period. So we are an active network. I think that's important. We've written a lot of reports and leaflets, but we also do actively campaigning on the streets and whatever is possible in our trade union hands to make things change. We are an active network, and we also hope, and it's a reach out to other unions that are attending us here tonight, that they will also join ETUN and join the campaigns that we have put up. So a couple of points then about our upcoming actions. So there's a week of action in Don't Buy Into Occupation that will start on January 30th, so in a couple of days. And we are preparing, and it's almost ready. We've made a 4-page leaflet that will be available in 4 different languages with our specific trade union recommendations and our call to trade unionists to support Don't Buy Into Occupation. And we have developed 10 specific recommendations for trade unions. I think Maha already shared it on the screen. I'm not going to do it now because we have to wait until we finalize the leaflet, but then everybody who is attending this webinar will automatically get it because you have subscribed. So this will be announced very shortly. It goes from raising awareness among our affiliates, support the development of national due diligence legislations, and take actions toward pension funds, exactly like Ingun has pointed out. We will also present case studies of what trade unions can do concretely, and this is coming up. So, but like I said, we are also an active organization. So we also will be involved in physical actions, in action on the streets, really to raise awareness. So we know already that several of our members, trade union members, together with NGOs and together with all other associations that are part of Don't Buy Into Occupation, will do concrete campaigning in the first week of February. And we know as trade unions that what we do is negotiate when where possible, but action when needed. So that is what we will do actively. So we know already that in Holland, in France, in several cities, and also in Belgium, we will have concrete actions in the first week of February. In Belgium and in some of the other countries, we are now mainly focusing on the banks. We have seen in the top 10 that BNP Paribas Fortis, I will call it Fortis, is on the top, is the first one on the list. So we will not forget about the other banks or financial institutions that are involved, but mainly now we will focus on Fortis. And it is not as a surprise that until now they have not reacted publicly on it. For example, in Belgium, we have sent out 1,000 letters from customers, trade unionists, to the bank. There was no reaction. And what is clear is that the policy from the head office in Paris is really like to say, we want to engage with you. That's what Fortis says. We want to engage in you on several issues, but not on this one. So their silence is really deafening, and I'll hope it'll make them uncomfortable when we are in front of their head offices in February. And it will be a necessary step because we know that these trade unions are, these banks are sensible to this public action. So if they don't want to go into negotiation or discuss with us, then we will have to take it a step forward. Which is also important that we can use that as well to talk to the Belgian governments or other governments, because we know that there are several times that they are shareholders of these banks and financial institutions. So they also have a role to play in that. They also have a responsibility. So this is one of the things that will happen in the upcoming weeks. I think there's other action methods as well. If you feel like, okay, we don't have a broad network, or we are a few people only in our country to do action, there are still things you can do. And there's things you can do as a consumer. There's things you can do as a trade unionist who has an account on one of those banks that is involved, to write to them and to ask them to change their policy, and to really put the focus point on the fact that they are doing financing activities and settlements which are contrary to the international law. So one of the other things that ETUN will also do in the upcoming weeks is to contact the UNI Global Federation. UNI is a very big, important player in the trade union field, because they organize all the workers in the bank sector, in the pension funds, but also in tourism. And as we know, Don't Buy Into Occupation not only focuses on banks, but also, for example, tourism, booking, and all the others that are mentioned there. So they have a key role. And what is good is that we have, as several trade unionists, members of ETUN, but also others who are not member of ETUN, we have raised this issue several times, and we have introduced Congress motions to both the UNI Europe Congress, this was this year, but also to the UNI World Congress that took place in Liverpool a couple of years ago. So that made that there's a very good, solid resolution of this UNI Global Federation. And now I think it would be good if they could also be involved and to do what the report says, and to put the recommendations into practice in the favor of due diligence. I think we must not forget, we're talking a lot about financial sectors and things what you do. We as ETUN and our individual members, we follow the situation in Palestine every day, and we know what's happening on the ground. And we did several other webinars in the last months also. We know that again this week, and it's a very important issue, that houses were demolished again in Sheikh Jarrah. We know that there are daily attacks of settlers towards Palestinians. We know that Palestinian workers are exploited every day. And we know that young people, activists, lawyers, human rights defenders are put into jail. And we know also that NGOs and associations which we have worked with have been put on the list of terrorist organizations. These are all things that are happening. So this is something we will not forget, and it's a current work to follow up and to be on the sides, to be besides the Palestinian workers and our colleagues. So in February, other things will happen. It will be a very busy upcoming months. We have been in contact with the International Trade Union Confederation, and they are starting to raise a petition that will start in February, a petition calling the UN for an update on the database. And what is important is that we don't only want an update, because it's been 2 years, and we know there's an enormous pressure on the UN not to update the 112 companies. But what is important is that it is really updated, but also that the span, the scope of the study will be expanded. We have done that in the Don't Buy Into Occupation reports. We have taken some other standards that are really important, which is not contradictory to what the UN has done, but complementary. And that would be really good if the update will be there, and if the UN could do their expansion. So we're looking forward to this petition by the International Trade Union Confederation. And 1 month from here, on February 20, we will launch, I said ETUN will be part of it, but there's a broad European coalition that will launch the Citizens Initiative, European Citizens Initiative. This is a campaign to collect 1 million signatures, specifically to stop all trade with illegal settlements. Why this 1 million? Because that's the rules of the game of this European Citizen Initiative. You need 1 million signatures from people from Europe that are, of course, member of the EU. And once you have those 1 million signatures, then you can address and push the European Commission to really put the issue on the table, and then we can make a legal act that officially ends the trade. So that's an important campaign again as well, in which we will be involved. We know that 1 million is a lot, and therefore we need to address this on a European scale. It's relatively clear. We can play a role in it, and we also call here for individuals and other trade unions to join in as well. The material there is in progress. There will be a website shortly out, I think also in the chat, because we know that the EU, and that has also been a key point of ETUN, we know there's European and corporate complicity, and we think that this should end. And therefore, we will do this campaign, and to be prepared is already half of the victory, because as Ingun has shown, it is necessary and important that we as trade unions can make some victories possible. We know it's very hard work, and I congratulate Vakverbundet and Ingun once again for the work that she's been doing daily and even for the last couple of weeks. So this is what I wanted to contribute tonight. There's big efforts coming up, but we will do it. And as we say, as trade unions, together we stand strong. Ensemble on est plus fort. Juntos estamos más fuerte. So thank you, and looking forward to see you in one of our campaigns during one of our upcoming webinars for a better world and for a free Palestine. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thanks.